They think that they just do, Ibogaine on their own and their problems will be solved.
So, therapy or coaching or whatever you want to call it, some people don't like the word therapy because it's, I'm sick. It's not for, like, coaching, guidance, however you want to, assistance. It's just a word. So that's what I do for work. The thing is, there is the conscious mind that is here in this bubble, and this whatever you can access. And then there's your subconscious mind, that know-it-all, that is connected to source. And it's protecting you for survival. So it doesn't let you access it. The answers, everything you're looking for, it's out of this box. But when there's people, therapists, guide, coach, that help you to ask better questions, then you can get better answers. Because when you're so focused on one question, you don't see the broader spectrum of the other question that would bring you the answers. So, giving you an example, like that people understand a 3D reality of this. How can I save money, right? How can I, instead of wasting $5 on Starbucks, why don't I buy a $2 coffee and save $3, right? That's one way of thinking about it. And then you're so focused on, I need to save money, but what if we reframe it, and how can you make more money? How can you make $100,000 a month that this coffee doesn't matter anymore, that you can have the coffee and you can have a Lamborghini and you can have the traveling and you can have whatever you want? Like, why do you need to save? So when you're in that scarcity mindset of trying to save on everything, you forget that you could just make more, so that you don't need to save on everything. So that's kind of like when there's a question and you're so fixated on it, like should I be with that person or not? Well, the question, like, maybe why are you scared of being alone? Why does it matter so much that you're with that person? Like, if it's so toxic, why do you feel like you need to stay? What are you scared of? Like, are you scared of being alone with yourself? Are you scared of not being enough? Do you see it as a failure? There's so many other questions that can be brought to your attention that you'll get a better answer instead of, should I be with that person? Well, maybe I just want to be with that person that doesn't respect me because I'm so scared to be alone that I need to feel attached to someone, and I don't feel like I deserve to be respected and treated good, that this person treating me like a piece of shit is all I need. And then it's just for me to remember myself. So the thing is, working with therapists and working, like, even for me as a coach, when I work with people, it just bounce back the ball of like, this is what I think, and then have you taught that, and then you receive the ball. Yeah, but what? And then you throw the ball, and then the person catch it, and then okay, but what about that? And then it's like a game of like playing with your mind. But sometime alone, it doesn't stimulate it. Not sometime, like every time. Alone is not the same. We're a team, we're a mission. Like, it's just like realization. So that's what a coach is for. That's what a guide. That's the whole thing.
So first, can you tell why did you decide to do Ibogaine? And what brought you here?
Coincidences, like, they happen everywhere. It's synchronicity. So I saw it on Instagram. Joe Rogan was talking about it, and some people had transformation. And I guess we're always looking for answers, looking for the purpose of life, the meaning, like all those questions, doubt, fear. And I like to experience psychedelic because every psychedelic is a different teacher. So I never really heard of Ibogaine. I heard the name before, but I never really did research on it. And then I was like, oh, I'll follow Beond, and then I'll see later, like, maybe I'll go, like, when it's time. And then we started talking right the next day on the IG page. And a friend that same day was telling me that he has a place in Hawaii that do Ibogaine. So I was like, oh, it's funny that you say Ibogaine, because I was trying to make him do a mushroom journey of psilocybin, and then it just didn't happen. So I was like, he was like, I want to do Ibogaine. And I was like, okay, let's go to Beond then. So then he canceled. He was supposed to come, but he had to work. So I was like, anyway, I'll go, and then you can come later. funny thing is he texted me today, like, fuck, I really need to go to do Ibogaine, but I didn't talk to him yet about what happened. And yeah, it just aligned with my life at the right time, and I was like, maybe Ibogaine can answer a question that I'm seeking for. So yeah, that's how it came in my life.
Okay. Can you tell a bit more about your preparation before your journey? What did you like the research part and the mental, physical, and spiritual
The preparation here, or
from the moment you decided that you're gonna do Ibogaine?
didn't really do research on it. I just trusted that it was there for a reason. And then I talked with Talia on the phone, which is the owner, and I listened a little bit to Andrew Huberman podcast that you sent me, and I didn't really care about all the data and facts. I just knew it was like a calling to come do it. So yeah, I came, and then from there on, the team was like amazing, and just they make you like get ready, do some question, seek answers inside of yourself to be ready for what's gonna be shown to you. So yeah.
What were your intentions for your journey? Did you have any?
Yeah, it was like I wanted to know what I was scared of, why I was suddenly in my life fearing death. I've never been scared of it, and then I had one psychedelic journey that scared me. And since that day, I wasn't scared of dying, but I was scared of not coming back from a psychedelic trip. I had this one trip that I got stuck in my mind for hours, and I was like, fuck, it's not a good place to be. And since that day, I got scared of for no reason. So I wanted to face that fear. And I knew Ibogaine was the longest journey that you can do. So I was like, it gotta be it. I gotta be stuck with myself like for that amount of time so I can face the fear that I have, because I can't live in that fear. I was scared of taking psilocybin, like big dose, hero dose. I never been scared of it, but since that moment I had that fear, the doubt, which was causing me what they call a bad trip. Bad trip is just a fear that amplifies, and if you let it control, it's not going to be a pleasant experience. So Ibogaine for me was the master, like the hardest, like the strongest. So I was like, I'll just go directly to it and I'll see what it has to show me.
Mm-hmm. Can you speak more about your Ibogaine journey in the treatment room? What did it show you, and how was experience itself, physically and consciousness?
Damn, it was weird. It was like very, very intense journey. Like I started like in an hospital bed. I don't know if it was a future event or an event that passed, like a memory, because it was mixed with so many memories. But the first hour and a half I was in the bed, and they were like either doing a surgery or something, and they were saying that I was dying or whatever. And then I kept peeking because I was like, fuck, is it happening now? And because you're in the bed, and I was looking up and seeing myself, a reflection of in the same bed but different hospital. It was an hospital, and you could feel the nurse touch you, talk to you, and it's like so real. So yeah, it just showed me this. Then I was like scared of, like, I was running after something the whole time, like trying to get answers at all costs, but I couldn't reach it. And then when I was reaching it, there was no answer. And I was like, fuck, somebody's playing with me. And then, yeah, I was frustrated. I ended up like being like, fuck, I did all that for nothing. It's not, I didn't get the answers. And then I started to have like, slowly on the coming down towards the end, I didn't have the release I thought I would have, like the crying or whatever. It didn't hit me yet. I had this feeling that I was in love with my girlfriend. That was one of the thing I wanted really to get out. And it just gave me certainty in terms of some area of my life. Later on, like after you integrate it, and I kept trying to remember to not look for answers on the vision, but it's so real that you forget that it's a vision, because it's like it's happening now. So you're like, oh, what is that? But it's just, you're supposed to let it flow, but when it's too real, it's like, it's hard to remember that you're supposed to let it flow and just observe. So yeah.
Can you conclude now or bring up some insights, the main insights that so far came up from Ibogaine experience and integration?
Yeah, I think it gave me the frame to then go Bufo, and then Bufo answered everything. Like, it was, I think now I see it as like, I don't think I could have, but I don't know if Bufo would have been that powerful because Ibogaine kind of face your fear and then teach you some stuff, and then you integrate also with Bufo. So it was like, yeah, it's like everything that I wasn't still fully processed, I got the answers.
Mm-hmm. So can you talk more about the Bufo? What is that? And how was your experience, and how did it help you integrate?
Yeah. Bufo is like, it's a frog, a toad that you smoke, or there's other way of doing it, but it was a ceremony of smoking. And it's funny because when I ended up Ibogaine, I thought the fear was gone, but when it was time to take Bufo, I started having that fear again, and I was like, fuck, again? So it was facing again that, fuck, if I go, I might not come back. So we have one dose, and then I had all my question answered, and I was like, okay, I get it. And then he's like, you go again, and I'm like, again? And I was scared again, and I'm like, fuck, and then I didn't get it. So I had to go again. And that right before, that's where it hit me. If I want to process it, I have to fully surrender. So I went in, and it answered everything. Like every question I've ever had in my life. Like, it was good.
Is the fear still there?
No. Yeah. Yeah, I can
now
put it
I
on
will.
tape. Mm-hmm. So we were talking about ayahuasca and your fear, and this doesn't exist. You heard it before, like, this is not a reality, this is a dream, right? Mm-hmm. So the dream is that you can imagine whatever you want in this reality, and you can go back to source whenever you want. Mm-hmm. And the fears are just hell, Satan, whatever people call it, is just illusion and part of your mind that is fear, trauma, scared of loss, of being hurt, of like, that's why we don't live fully. We don't love fully because we're scared of being hurt, but hurt is just a reflection of our own fears. So until you face those fears, they're gonna be there. And then it was, for me, the fear, you're scared of ayahuasca because you're scared of being stuck with yourself and all your fear for eternity. But it's never eternity, because once you eliminate them, like once you see behind the curtain of that illusion, there's no fear. So that all those things is just a pure bliss. Like, it doesn't exist. That's why there's no time. Time is the illusion that we create in this reality. But you could go for eternity and come back at a specific time, moment in space now. But you can go back. So when you're in psychedelic, it's just that it'll launch you there, but you can come back whenever you want. And it will end. Like, it's a duration and in your mind to feel safe that you're gonna be able to come back when you're scared. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you're never launched forever. Yeah. Like, you could be launched forever because there's no time. But the thing is, you can come back whenever you decide. Yeah. And often when you have one of those realizations in psychedelic, you're like, okay, I can come back, I get the message. And then you choose to come back. Because I'm sure that when you got stuck in your ayahuasca, that it took you in a very, very dark place, you came back when you surrendered. So that was it for me. Like, once I did 8 grams of shroom and I got catapulted into a dark, very dark space, like in the black hole with myself, and hearing all those doubts, thought, all that thing, like that monkey mind forever. And I was like, fuck, I can't be stuck here forever, that's it. That's in the dark, that's it. But once I just surrendered to it, I woke up. Because once you surrender, there's no illusion. You can come back and create whatever you want.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I would say if you have fear, you have to go again. As many times as it takes. Like, you go, you look at why you have fear, and you go back.
Yeah, and once we stop fighting it, stop resisting it,
Yeah.
then it passes.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. Like all those doubts, all that fear, all that uncertainty, like it's just your mind trying to trick you.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Going from a good experience of pure bliss to, oh fuck it, I'm here. But the thing is, that part is the part of yourself that you're trying to avoid, and that's what psychedelic does. It takes you there and drop you. So you don't know how to walk to your fear. You're just being dropped in it. That's why it's so scary. It's like that part that you avoid, that you don't want to connect with other human. You don't want to love fully your partner. You're self-sabotaging yourself, even in work, relationship with your parents, because you're scared of that part of yourself until you see the illusion. Then you come back.
Yeah, the way out is through.
Yeah, that's it. Once you face all that, there's no like, it's a life journey. Like it's so much work that I think that's why I got so clear on Bufo one shot, because it's like, I see now that all the dots that I've had, like that I dropped all the pin in my life, and then Bufo linked them all together to explain the whole vision of like everything that I thought I understood. I knew I understood them 99.9%, but because there's a very little doubt. This doubt is like an inception in your mind of like a ripple effect that is always constant. Fear that when you make a decision, it cannot really manifest in your life because you're creating the doubt that it won't manifest. But once you get out of that space and you're just pure love and creation, and once you walk in life with pure love towards people, your parents, your just acceptance, like also got rid of judgment. Like I just started to see human being as like sometimes you're so like, your mind will judge, she's fat, she's ugly, he's like stupid, blah blah, and then you lose touch with human because you're so in the judgment of, and everybody has those judgments, even if you say you don't. That's the first thing when you see someone, she's ugly, fuck, he stinks, like whatever you want to say, and then it creates a barrier of pure love and connection that you should have and be. And then same thing with your parents, you don't love them fully because of the trauma that happened in the past, but it's just wasting time, but wasting time in this reality, like of like, you can always make the best out of it after that. Like, so yeah, it just gave me certainty in the creation that I'm gonna do in this reality. Like it showed me that I choose anything. So because I choose, I can create whatever I want. And then I can start focusing on what if there's pedophile, what is there satanist, what is it? There's none of that. Like, I mean, yes, it exists because you make it exist. If it makes sense, like heaven is here, you're God here, like you're part of God, your source, but here is in experiencing all the emotion of love and all the other good frequency. But without the contrast, then there's no experience. Because when you're in pure bliss, there's no contrast. There's just pure acceptance and pure love. So then it's kind of boring for you can go there anytime. It's like you can come back anytime here, because here you experience a full spectrum of contrast of like grief, death, guilt, fear, and then you can just master those emotions and they don't matter anymore, like, because there's none of that. So that's heaven, but heaven can be here, or you can make it hell, or whatever they want to call it. Like it's in your mind. The mind is the prison. I don't seek for any answer right now. All my answer got answered. Mm-hmm. All those questions for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I think we seek for answers so much. Like I talk for myself, it's like always too many questions that imprison us in the past or the future that we can't live right now. And then we're missing what's happening now. Like the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle makes so much sense now of like, you're so lost in time. We created it as a tool to reference, and we made it a prison with money and all that stuff. It's just, we're so attached to those things that it's all like, it's all causing us pain, so much pain. But I had all those questions I needed to explain everything, but word can't teach. It's like, you have to experience it so it sink in. And now it makes sense. Like now all my question has been answered. Like every question I had in the universe is just like, yeah.
Was it clear this after Ibogaine, or DMT and Bufo really contributed to
it? Was Bufo, yeah. I think Ibogaine was getting everything ready. Like my girlfriend was like, I think I just want to do Bufo, and I was like, nah, because you have fear. You have to do Ibogaine. Like, same for you. Because you have fear right now from ayahuasca or any other teacher, I don't think Bufo will hit the same. So, because your experience with Bufo was one teaching, but I think for it to sink like it synced, like the revelation I have right now is just, I think it's a synchrony of events. So that's why I told her, I'm like, nah, because she was like, I'm scared of Ibogaine. I'm like, that's why you have to do it. That's why you have to surrender, so then you can surrender. Because like you said, Bufo just take you there. But if you don't know how to get from Miami to LA, even if I drop you in LA and I'm like, walk back to Miami, you can't know how you did it. Versus if I show you the whole way, even if I'm driving, but I show you every fucking step, and then I'm like, do it again, then you know how to get there. And that's always been the thing for me. Like my whole quote was, I want to live life like I'm on shroom. Because when I'm on shroom, I'm pure heart, pure love. So I want to go and love human being like without that judgment and with full understanding of everything. And I was like, why do every time I come back, I'm back into that fucking human shit? I was like, I know it. Like, because when I go, I know it. But like, every time I come back, I was like, it doesn't stay. So I needed to go more often. I was like, and then I got scared of it. And then I was like, fuck, how am I going to do it? Like, because that's my place to remember what it feels like. So yeah, I think meditation and breath work and psilocybin now is just a tool to tap back into source. Because you could forget. But you could get lost in that human experience. Because whatever senses, you're all living life from your senses, that's what makes it feel real. But you know when you're a psychedelic that everything is real. And that's the tricky part, so it's all in your mind. So yeah, now Bufo made it all sync of like, know it all. Like I'm like, okay, now it makes sense. It's just, but the weird part is like, now you're listening to that and you can't understand until you understand. I read so many books, so many things, but it never synced until that time. So I think it's just keep going in the journey until you get the pure. And now I understand more why people get addiction, more like, because if Bufo is kind of like, there's some opioid addicts here, so they say like it's kind of like heroin, but on even stronger. So now I get it why people get addicted, because they get a sense of God and the source. But then they have fear, so they try to escape it instead of coming to make it here. they think that it's only there, but it's not here when it's both. So they get addicted to escape here when that's I think the whole word about like escaping the matrix. You know, everybody talks about that. I want to escape the matrix. There's no fucking matrix. This is it. There's no escaping. This is the only matrix it is. Like you make it whatever you want. Like we all, that's the word, escape. Like I want to escape. No, I want to beat the matrix. I want to be a master of it. I want to be a god of the matrix. Like I want to master myself. That's how I would see it, not escaping. Like that's how I'll use the word now. It's like beat the matrix, like master the matrix. Because escape means that you have fear. You're trying to avoid some stuff. I don't want to live here anymore. It's too painful. It's painful because you choose that it's painful. It's like object and things and emotion that don't have meaning until you give it meaning. Like if you die, somebody that doesn't know you doesn't feel anything. It's just another person dying. But for your mom, it's a whole world that disappear. Memories, feeling. Like if my camera fall on the floor and it breaks, it's for me that I'm like, oh, my camera, like it's my thing. It's I gave it meaning. But for you, you're like, it's okay, it's a camera. You know what I mean? Like it's just things don't make sense, and that there's no meaning for anything until you give it a meaning. So if someone says that you're fat and ugly, it only hurt because you believe it. Because even if you would say that I'm ugly and whatever, I'm like, okay, cool. This doesn't hurt me. But if I give a meaning to your word, that's when it hit. That, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm like, if I think I'm not a good dancer and you insult my dancing skill, I'm not good. But if I don't care and I just dance because I feel like I want to dance, it doesn't matter anymore. That someone says that that you're not a good dancer or not a good drawer. Like if you paint for fun, it's, you know what I mean? Like that. So all those, yeah, it's you choose to make it whatever you want because you give it the perception you want.
You mentioned before about the fear of death. That this theme came up during Ibogaine experience.
Of death? There's no such thing as death. And it's not the first time I came to this conclusion. So, if there was no time here, then we wouldn't have that illusion that our time is going to end and we need to make something out of it. And there would be, it's like if you know you have eternity, you would waste time. Like you wouldn't chase anything. You wouldn't try to live the experience because you'd be like, I live in 100 years, like this doesn't matter. So we created that in order for us to force the experience of life and make us take action. But there's no time, there's no death. Like it's just, you can come back whenever you want. Like when I go from this experience, that I created, the mic, like this bodysuit, this human flesh, I can come back as whatever I want. I can be a tiger, I can be human, I can experience life however I want it, because I'll create my own reality. But if you knew it all, then there wouldn't be an experience. It's like the game is not fun as a gamer, it's like the game is not fun if you have all the equipment and you're the best in the game and you already know it all. It's like there's no point playing. But if you start at level 1 and you need to go level 60 and then you need to do quests and you need to gear your character, that's how I see life. It's like there's a meaning because you don't know. You're starting from ground zero. And then you go and then you're like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm growing, because the purpose of life is to grow. But if you're dropped as a full tree, you're already full, you're not a seed. But if you're a seed, then you can be any tree that you want, any creation, and you can extend your branch in any direction. Then that's what gave it the flow of life and the meaning. But if you're already dropped as a big tree and there's no growth, you'd be like, okay, I'm just sitting here waiting for what? You know what I mean? That's how I see it.
The process at Beond, since the moment you arrived and the team, and did you feel safe during the treatment?
Yeah. Yeah, it was amazing. Like, everybody's amazing. Tom and Talia are on a mission, and it's beautiful to see it. I'm on the same mission, and it's just beautiful to see, and the whole team aligned with the vision and the culture, and they make you feel safe and heard, and they take you through that process. And a lot of people think it's just for addiction, but I'm not here for addiction, and I got the blessing of a life. So it's like, it's not only for people suffering or whatever, it's for everybody got to experience this. The thing is, yeah, when you arrive, the team is just amazing. They pick you up from the airport, they arrange everything, take care of the meal. You just have to be. So it's like you can fully surrender. And then for me that was scared of like kind of dying or whatever, it's like it makes you feel at ease that you're in an hospital like bed with monitor, and there's nurse around you, so like you're like, oh, maybe if I die they're gonna bring me back or whatever. And it makes you the peace of mind that you can surrender to it. Because when I did shroom with my girlfriend, I'm like, fuck, if I die she's gonna have it on, like if I go right now it's gonna be hard for her. Like, just imagine your boyfriend die right away. But you can't die on shroom, that's the thing. But it feels like you're gonna die. That's where it planted the seed of fear. But when you're in that fear, you're like, fuck, what if? Even if it's not real, it's what if. So when you're in that setting, it gives you permission to surrender, whatever permission you needed. And then they help integrate the process. Yeah, so it's like, it's a whole experience that, like most of the time I did my psilocybin journey alone. I didn't want to mix my energy with no one. I didn't want no one to interfere. I'm like, I don't want no one to call ambulance if anything happened. Like, I want to just be, and I'll come back. Like, I always believed it. So I believe that it's cool to be guided, but guided, you're not really guided like in terms of like, it's not that they do much. They just hold space and put the playlist, and then the medicine does the work, and then the playlist help to get into what needs to be done.
Who should do Ibogaine?
Everyone should do Ibogaine. Like, everyone that has the calling. The thing is, whenever you're ready, it will show. Like, there's a saying about like, whenever the student is ready, the master will appear. And like, I'm just thinking about people that start chasing psychedelic like it's candies, and they do psychedelic over psychedelic, 20, 30 ayahuasca in a year and this and that. You don't understand. That's not how we do things. Like, if you feel like you need it, go do it, but it's not going to give you the answers. And I got a friend that's here right now that I brought, and he did ayahuasca right now. He never did psychedelic. He's like, I'm going to do Iboga after Iboga. And I'm like, bro, like, relax. This is a teacher. You need to integrate. And to have the revelation that you're seeking, you need to let it sit, and I hope he's going to get what he's looking for, because everybody deserves it. But I'm not sure I would have I'm not sure 5 years ago I would have get the same answer as right now, because it was a whole journey of like integration, and then you try to go make it make sense, and then you're like, okay, I get it, but then you're like, nah, I don't get it, and then you go back, and I feel like it's a journey of learning, and everybody get it at their own time. Like, everybody will get the answers they're looking for whenever they're ready. So yeah, it's for everyone. Like, some people need it more right now, especially if you're like, why it's so good for PTSD, addiction, pattern breaking, because it's the master teacher. So it's good for everyone. And even if you don't get all the answers, you can come get some answers. I would just say respect the learning curve and the process. Because even if I give you $100 million right now, if you don't know how to manage it, you'll lose it. And it's been proven so many times. All the lottery winner, almost all of them, go back to being poor because they have a broke mentality. They have a poor mentality that you can't. Life will bring you back to your value. It's like a thermostat. If the room is set for 72, it will always go back to 72. Even if I put it to 79, the AC will start. If I put it to 50, the heat will start. It will go back to where you think it belongs. So it's the same in life. You'll always go back to where you think you belong. So yeah, it's for everyone to get answers. It's just don't try to chase it so hard. Don't try to abuse every substance to try to find an answer, and let time do its thing.